New year, healthy goals. So what's for dinner tonight? Hatfield marinated pork tenderloins, of course. Packed with protein and oven ready in about 35 minutes. Hatfield makes fresh starts easy. To find retailers near you, visit simplyhatfield.com. Hatfield, better care, better pork.
Welcome back to Come Back with a Warrant podcast. I'm Brandon Dinitz.
And I'm Monica Ashak. Before we kickstart this week's episode, this is your reminder that this podcast is not legal advice. It's real, unfiltered, and for entertainment purposes only. If you need to speak with a lawyer, call one. Or better yet, call us.
Welcome back to Come Back with a Warrant. I'm Brandon Dinitz.
I'm Monica Ashak.
And today we are going to be talking about how internet clout can get you arrested.
Yes. And oftentimes people post things not expecting it to be played in court as evidence against them. But oftentimes in 2025, that's what happens.
Yeah. And specifically, we're going to look at a few different examples of some TikTokers. TikTokers? Is that okay. That have gotten themselves into some trouble, that are charged currently, could be charged with more, probably will get charged in the future. But ultimately, perfect examples of what not to be doing on TikTok because of the criminal implications.
Yeah. And, you know, there are so many, these are just like a handful that we found, but there are so many people that experience this, that we've experienced. We've had our own cases where, you know, we've talked about Snapchat was used against our clients. So even if you don't go viral, you know, it doesn't matter. Any sort of posting can ultimately be used against you.
So Heston James is out of Arizona. He has now been arrested for burglary, impersonation, disorderly conduct, and trespassing. He's looking at some ungodly amount of time in prison for this.
Yeah. And
if you're unfamiliar with this guy, he has a shtick where he goes to different stores. For example, there's a video where he goes to a Target and he shows up in a Target employee uniform and he walks up to the manager and to the security there and he starts telling them about how they're not doing their jobs right. And he's from corporate and he's going to bring in a whole group of workers to take over. And they basically tell him to get out or they're going to call the police. And then he says, okay, guys, let's roll in. And then all of a sudden, 10 to 15 guys in Target t-shirts walk in the door and he starts telling them to go to different places, to registers and to do. So he has done this at, and the videos are very funny.
And they come in dressed.
Yeah. Oh, these people are dressed in the full uniform, like ready to go. It's very funny. He's done this at car repair shops. He's done this, Chipotle. Like I said, at a Target, at a Chipotle. So all of these incidents he's put on TikTok. He's also known for going into stores, department stores, and screaming really loudly. And then when people from the store come over to him and tell him like, hey,
shut up,
like, quiet, get out. He's always like, oh, that's not me. And then he has a buddy somewhere else in the store that's screaming and that's saying it. So this is very immature humor.
Yeah.
It's still funny and it's getting a lot of views, but it has now landed this guy in a position where he's facing decades in prison in Arizona.
To be fair.
Please be fair.
I think the government has significantly like overcharged him, considering.
You think?
It's bullshit.
Yeah. It's a prank.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, there are Target, you can say, suffered the ability to conduct business during the time that he was doing this stuff. But to charge him with multiple felonies is ridiculous.
Well, like the suffering, I think, would come into play more with like a civil case where it's like damages and you have to prove that maybe they lost a certain amount of like sales due to his actions. But when it comes to criminal, you have to show like a criminal intent.
Right.
And specifically when you said impersonation, because I haven't seen a charge like that in Florida. We looked it up for Arizona, and there needs to be an intent to defraud. So not only are you just dressing up as this Target worker, but you have to do it with the intent to defraud the Target, which he wasn't trying to take their money. He was just fucking around.
Right. And but FAFO, he's fucked around and he's now found
Found
out
out.
that you can't do it.
Yeah.
And he got away with it enough times, but the problem is, and that's what the whole point of this episode is, everything he did was recorded.
Yeah.
And then put online.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have a defense for the actual factual allegations because they're all plain clear. They've been seen by millions of people, which is good and bad. The good side, he's got people that'll help him pay for his legal defense.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got people out there that can advocate for him and say, it's being overcharged. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's good on the one side. But on the negative, you're leaving your defense attorney with not a lot in terms of factual arguments.
Yeah.
Other than talking about how this is overcharged and it's bullshit for how much it's overcharged.
Right.
That's about the extent because he's doing all of these things on camera and posting it.
Yeah. But years in prison, like
ridiculous.
So a burglary, just to break it down, in order to be charged with a burglary, it's a trespass plus. So you're not welcome into a specific area or a business in this case. And you have the intent to commit a felony therein or a crime therein, depending on the jurisdiction you're in. In this case, what was the intent? What was the intent to commit what crime in this situation? And that's the question mark. So
right.
Yeah, was he trespassing? Is it on video? Yeah. But the intent to commit further crimes, I don't know. I think anybody that watches these videos would see that he's just an immature kid wanting to get famous online or is continuing to promote his, I don't know, pranks online.
Yeah.
It's just silly. It's just silly that the government would even waste its time on this. But at the same time, this also shows that oftentimes there's this, and this is not completely related to the topic that we're discussing, but it's oftentimes in cases, victims can be stores, and in this case,
right.
It could be like Target, Chipotle, or whatever. And they actually are treated as victims, if there's a loss and there's restitution that needs to be paid, they'll incorporate that into the plea agreement or whatever it is. So just because it's Chipotle or Target or, a mechanic shop or whatever, they don't really care. They're still going to treat it as a victim was injured or hurt or whatever.
Yeah. And I think, the overcharging can come from thinking you have so much evidence that it's a slam dunk. So no matter what, you can charge whatever, which I think is wrong because juries are going to see at the end of the day, you still have to meet the elements of the crime if you're going to convict these people of what they're doing. I completely agree with you, though. I don't see the crime that he's committing therein to satisfy the burglary, which is the most serious charge that he's facing. They're going to say the impersonation was the crime therein. I don't see, what, and then you have to take that next step to, like you said, then you have to show that he was trying to defraud. I don't see it.
No.
I think that you have a prosecutor's office that knows this is high profile because there's millions of views of these videos and has a victim, multiple businesses that they're, alleging are the victims in this crime. You take all of that together and you've got the overcharging. Yeah.
And I think oftentimes certain prosecuting agencies will overcharge to leverage whatever it is they need for media purposes, plus politics, plus getting the best to negotiate, make the defense do their job and get the best deal for them. But then it ultimately ends up being sometimes what they're actually should be charged with, where,
right.
I don't know how this case is going to result. It's still pending, but
this should result with
a trespass. Well, yeah, and not pleading to a burglary or anything.
No, absolutely not. This guy should not be serving time in jail.
No.
He should be put on probation where his conditions are. He's not allowed to go to these places.
Yeah, exactly. That should be the punishment. You shouldn't be allowed to go there, and that's it.
I mean,
Well, there's also, I think also Heston James's can be compared to Put a Girl On, which is another.
Okay, so that's another example of a very immature prankster, but
he's actually
hilarious again. This is a individual that prank phone calls people, and the whole point is after having a short conversation with these people, he asks them to put a girl on the phone. That's stupid. It. But it is repeated calls to KFC or the Church of Scientology or Taco Bell or Jersey Mike subs. And what makes the videos funny is the reaction of the people on the phone. They are getting really, really annoyed. Some of them flip out. Some of them just lose it because this guy's been doing it a lot. So Mr. Put a Girl On is another example of a guy who's gotten in trouble for prank phone calls on and putting them and puts them online and puts them on TikTok. So he's another one that's putting himself at risk.
Yes, but I think that he can be compared to Heston James in the sense that if he were charged with like multiple counts of stalking, he would be found guilty of it.
Okay.
Like,
why do you think
I don't think that would be an overcharge because it's incessant. So at least in Florida, because I know they're not I don't know if this guy's in Florida actually.
I don't think so.
But based off Florida law, it's 2 or more instances of like harassing conduct. So there have been times where he's called like 5 times.
No, there's been times that it's like 20 something times.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So
I didn't know that.
He definitely would have checked those boxes. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting to hear you say you think that he would be found guilty if he was
like what's his defense? It is harassing and it is multiple instances.
No, you're
and
right.
On top of that, at least in Florida, you have to get consent to be recorded. So is he getting consent to record these people and put it online?
No way.
Exactly.
There's no way.
So he's probably committing like so many felonies all at once and like doesn't even know it.
Mr. Put a Girl On, if you're listening.
Yeah. Stop.
You need us.
Yes. If you're in Florida.
Although Monica thinks you're guilty, so maybe call her and ask her to put a girl on.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
But that is another example of somebody that is
he's recording his evidence and putting it online.
Yeah.
And giving it to the government on a silver platter. There is one that I saw last year in November and this was in Florida, somewhere in Florida, I don't know where. But this woman she went on she's an influencer. I think her name is Marlena Velez. She is a influencer online. She went on a Target spree, took a bunch of items, did not pay for them, recorded herself like in the process of like, come with me to Target. So she grabs all her things, loads it in the car, records herself loading it in the car, and takes it home, shows everybody what she got. And then the next day, I think she gets arrested or something like that. And it was like that it could become a felony at that point because it's a certain amount. The theft that's being alleged is
she records the whole time?
The entire process.
Oh, so she shows that stealing it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And then she puts it online. And then she's charged with theft. So that was another thing where you like literally have what is your defense in that situation? Like Heston James has a defense. I don't think Put a Girl On has a defense. Marlena Velez, girl, I don't think you have a defense either.
No.
I don't know what happened with that case, but I remember seeing it online. And I was like, that's so embarrassing. Like, please don't do that.
Yeah, I don't know why you would do the whole
thing from beginning to end. Well, she's an influencer. She's making her money online.
That's the thing. Anybody can be an influencer. Who is she influencing? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, her fans.
Who are her fans? That are like, yeah.
I don't
know. Free her.
She didn't put it that in that video. She didn't say that she stole anything, but she was like doing a video.
She's not, like running out with
her cart. Yeah. Like just with her cart on video. Like just like, hey, look at me going to Target. You know, those videos that's like those girls that are like, come with me to Target and see what I get. And then they like grab their things. They actually pay for them. And then they go home and they do a haul. Well, she didn't pay for them. And she didn't show that part where she was like paying.
But does it skip over that part?
Yes.
So like somebody could think that she paid for it?
Exactly. But
okay.
Let me just tell y'all, Target, Home Depot, trying to think of what other stores, Walmart, they have HD security cameras
everywhere.
Like the Home Depot ones specifically, like the self-checkout ones are like right here. above the people. And like oftentimes, and this is just because I've had so many of these cases, you know, when I was at the public defender's office, but literally right above your head, HD, you can see everything. And like the best quality camera I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Publix has some good ones too. They're always
these
able
are
to
the
get
stores
people in
to
like
not hit.
don't hit these stores. They have such high quality.
Yeah.
New year, healthy goals. So what's for dinner tonight? Hatfield marinated pork tenderloins, of course. Packed with protein and oven ready in about 35 minutes. Hatfield makes fresh starts easy. To find retailers near you, visit simplyhatfield.com. Hatfield, better care, better pork.
Yes. So,
And they're all willing to prosecute.
yes.
I know, because at the state, we would make the phone calls and say, are you looking to prosecute? Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
They pay the loss prevention people like 6 figures, these places. So they're not doing that for nothing. They're trying to get their restitution back from.
Those people are not preventing loss.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that's.
No offense to any of those who are listening.
If you're a loss prevention officer,
if you're a big fan of the show and you're a loss prevention officer, I apologize for offending you.
Yeah. But you know, that's on them.
One thing that we didn't talk about is one of the big problems with these videos is the risk of contaminating potential jurors.
Mm-hmm.
You are letting them see the evidence ahead of time, and it does a few things. One, it makes it more difficult to get a jury because people are exposed to the case. And two, it makes it more difficult to have a fair trial because people are going to have biases against that potentially that individual, whether they've seen their video or other videos like it. That could cause a bias in the jury. And again, make it harder to get a jury.
Yeah. I think in the past, there was like this era where obviously there was less technology and things weren't as known. And only the big cases became kind of like shown on the media, which was like OJ and all those things. But now because of social and everyone's like plastering everything online, and if you have somewhat of a following, it becomes something that media wants to cover because it's like, oh, you know, Heston James, he's not anybody, you know, I don't want to say he's a nobody, but he's not a celebrity, you know, he's known for those videos. So
Correct.
It's like people who are known for putting out whatever content they're putting out online get some sort of attention with the media, which exposes potential jurors on your jury and then could affect the trajectory of your case. So people obviously don't think this far ahead when they're posting. They're posting for clout, content, whatever. They're not thinking they could be, I don't know if they're thinking that they could be committing a crime and posting it online as evidence for the government. I doubt they are, because if they did, they probably would think twice, I'm assuming. I would like to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe not Miss Velez.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. It just like blows my mind. But I mean, some of these cases, just like, why would you even go to trial? Why would you even have a jury? Because you're putting it online. It's not like you're getting your opportunity to fight for your innocence.
No, and you're definitely, I think, even being a TikToker that's on trial and that's what you're known as is probably not the best best look.
Yeah. Especially because a lot of the people who are on a jury are really just like regular working people, you know. It would probably be hard to resonate with that type of career. You know, it is becoming more common, but it's still not a thing, you know, amongst society where it's like everybody, or, you know, when you grab a group of people, there's going to be somebody on there saying, yeah, I'm an influencer online. Like
it would be really fun to ask the jury panel about TikTok though, and ask them all about, you know, if you have people that use it, you would have to ferret that out. You would have to ferret out if anybody had seen this guy or videos like this. Because you're going to need to try to get any of those biases out early, so you can deselect those jurors.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that's huge for a case.
Yeah. And I think also, like, in terms of jury selection specifically, when people are talking about whether they've seen it, you know, that in itself, I think, would get someone disqualified if they were like, oh yeah, I know who this person is, or maybe I follow them, you know.
Right. I would think that would get you disqualified.
Yeah. Like you were not, I think, but you don't even have to say that you would be biased. Like, I think that would be enough to get you off.
Yeah. As long as you hope that they don't just go, oh, I've seen that guy. He's an idiot.
It's like, oh, okay, so what do you think of my
what
client?
do you mean? You think he's an idiot, but do you think he's an idiot and it's not that serious
Yeah.
and he's an idiot, or he's an idiot and he's guilty?
Do you think it's funny?
Yeah. He's an idiot in like a fun way, or is he an idiot and he's guilty?
Yeah.
You want him to go to jail.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would probably take it the other way. I'd probably take it like, oh, he probably just thinks my client's just like fucking around.
You got to be very careful, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the dangerous.
Because these people in Target with Heston James are so mad. Like, they are genuinely, they have zero patience. Like,
all of the people that are in these videos,
they're so mad.
Are so mad.
They're not even like, haha, like, no. They're like, you are an idiot. Get out of my face.
And it's not even, yeah.
We hate
he
you.
Is. I mean, he's rude to them in certain videos. Like, he'll be rude to the employees in the stores. But like, I mean, I think once they see he comes in there with a full crew, they just like all these people just lose it.
Don't they see the camera? Like,
that's the other thing is I think they have to see the camera.
Yeah, like
there's got to be a guy following him with a camera.
Unless
they're all wearing the
Ray-Ban Metas.
Yeah, everybody's wearing the glasses.
I'm obsessed with those. I have a pair, and I'm like, me and my Metas against the world. This is not sponsored by Ray-Ban Meta, but I wish it was.
You just walk around recording everything?
Sometimes. Yeah. No reasonable
play it back.
Sometimes.
That's so strange.
What?
Remember that walk I took?
Yeah.
Let me go back and reminisce.
It's such a good like quality camera too. That's another way you can get caught on video.
Yeah.
Stay vigilant.
There are people that are posting videos on social media using those, and they're definitely not telling you that they're recording.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you don't have a reasonable expectation of privacy because you're in public, then...
We talked about that.
Yeah.
First Amendment.
And in terms of, you know, we were talking about influencers, but going to like celebrities, this comes into play with like rappers and singers and artists when their songs and stuff are being played in court. Young Thug, his music was played in court against him to show his intent or his criminal, his criminal intent, which, you know, that's also a fine line for
like propensity evidence. It sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah. And for people who don't know, propensity is basically evidence to show that you are more likely to commit this crime because you did something in the past. Yeah.
Right. And that to me, if you're saying that the lyrics of a song are taken at face value, that they're not being just said for entertainment purposes, you're taking them at face value and you're saying, oh, because they are saying they did that type of crime in that song, they did do that type of crime, and then they are more likely to have done this type of crime.
Yeah.
And that's cheap.
Yeah.
That's a cheap attack at the person. If you that to me signifies that you do not have enough evidence to get them on the actual charge you want.
Yes. Yes, it's bad character evidence, and that is something the government will do when they're like reaching to show intent.
Yeah.
Because they might have stronger evidence to show like maybe this person was nearby or whatever, but they don't have that, you know, smoking gun, literally, to show that this person was the one who actually carried out the crime. And sometimes they're reaching to get song lyrics, whatever, to show that. So yeah, Young Thug was one. And then obviously there's just so many different ways people can end up getting in trouble. And we talked about this for Snapchat. So I had a case in the past. My client was using Snapchat, and on Snapchat, you can communicate really with anybody if you just like freely add people, or like, I think if you have your settings where it's like open for people who are not your friends to message you, you can do that. And so I had a client who was doing that, and he was selling some weed. Nothing crazy.
Okay.
And he was messaging an officer, and under the impression that he was not an officer, obviously. And he was like trying to, you know, negotiate pricing, talk about what he's got, send photos, all the things. And what happened was that was used against him in the case. So
he's like a terrible weed dealer.
Yeah. So they ended up meeting up, and then that's when they arrested him. There was like 2 or 3 instances.
You need a career change.
Yeah. Yeah. Thankfully he stopped doing that.
That's good.
Yeah.
You should just get out of sales altogether.
Yeah. Don't sell anything.
Yeah.
Don't even try selling.
Terrible salesman.
Yeah. So Snapchat, that's also another way, you know?
Snapchat seems like one of the ways to get you in trouble. I remember seeing evidence from Snapchat of people with guns, drugs, that,
because people think it's like goes away because of the 24-hour thing. It's not a thing.
I feel like that doesn't go away.
No. And one person can save it. If you're a party to the conversation, you can save it. So also, do you read the terms and conditions before actually signing? Nobody reads that. You don't know. You don't know if they have that backed up. I barely use Snap. I have it, but I don't use it. And it's just not, I don't know. First of all, it's like so 2013 to me.
Snapchat?
Yes. We are over a decade past when Snapchat was cool. In my mind.
I don't think I ever really used it, but I had it.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. But clearly people are using
a bunch of apps like that I was not at the right time for.
Yeah. You're like, this isn't cool for me.
It just wasn't like I wasn't a dating app person.
Well, lucky you.
Oh, sorry. Nothing wrong with dating apps.
No, there's a lot.
This episode is brought to you by
you guys. There's a lot wrong with dating apps.
That could be a whole episode. Imagine. Figure that out.
We can definitely talk about dating apps gone wrong on another episode.
People getting murdered.
Yes,
that'd be exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, I apologize for them, but
yeah.
Sorry.
It'll be exciting for us to talk about. That's what he meant.
That would be, yeah.
Not for the murders.
As a criminal defense attorney, all the time, someone will talk about a case or a story in the news, and I will get excited about it. And other people that don't do what I do for a living look at me and they're like,
"You're such a weirdo."
This guy,
yeah,
right? Because I'm usually they'll be like, "Oh yeah, this was drug trafficking, and they caught him with blah blah blah," and I'll be like, "Nice."
Yeah,
and the people be like, "What are you saying nice for?" And I'd be like, "Oh no, I don't mean it like that.
Yeah.
I mean it like I have a professional interest in this. I think it's interesting, and I practice these types of cases." So
that's hilarious. I definitely relate to that. And
right.
People think you're a scumbag because you think it's cool, but it's it's not. I don't know. It's just mind your business, okay?
Yeah, I'm not advocating to do these things, but someone's like, "Oh yeah, this was a certain type of homicide case," and and I'm just like, "Oh, all right, let's go." I want to get involved, and other people would just be like, "Oh God." Okay. But
speaking of current cases, did you see Cardi B's trial? Portions of it?
I've seen parts of it.
She is
You can definitely talk about this.
Amazing. On the stand when she's asked questions, and I don't know if you've seen, I talked to you about it before, where she was being questioned on the term altercation.
Yeah.
And she responded, I think it's a debate. I just think it's so funny. I think she is so funny on the stand. And the woman that's trying to sue her is just for $24 million over a scratch on her face and resulting in allegedly $20,000. What's it called? Plastic surgery because of the scratch. That's crazy.
She does not have a $24 million attorney.
No. Well, apparently
his cross-examinations are shit.
I know, but apparently he represented Nicki Minaj in the past. So I would expect more of a celebrity counsel. You know what I mean?
I don't know why he seems so ill-prepared to deal with her, and he turned her into the courtroom darling and had the entire jury eating out of the palm of Cardi B's hand. That is going to be a quick defense verdict.
Yeah, this is true. This is so true. And the way, that's
a magic trick to do cross-examination in a way that you help the other side's case. That is a magic trick, but a terrible magic trick. Because you shouldn't be able to do that.
That is so funny. He is help. I realized that I was at one point I was like, is it her counsel or him? And then I heard a question. I was like, oh, okay, it's definitely him because he's being a little hostile, but he's making her look real good.
New year, healthy goals. So what's for dinner tonight? Hatfield marinated pork tenderloins, of course. Packed with protein and oven ready in about 35 minutes. Hatfield makes fresh starts easy. To find retailers near you, visit simplyhatfield.com. Hatfield, better care, better pork.
Yeah.
And that's on, I can't imagine. And speaking of juries, people on that jury, I'm sure, know Cardi B, but they probably had to be vetted on whether like they listen to her music, do they like her? Because who doesn't know Cardi B?
Yeah,
You
I'm
know?
sure it took a long time to get that jury panel.
Yeah. For a case that should be 2 days, but it is a 2-week trial for some reason. I have no idea why, but
It's a lot of money being spent on nonsense.
yeah. Yeah. But I don't want to say nonsense because we have entertainment now.
Well, sure.
So thank you, Cardi B.
Yeah.
Carrying the team on your back. So would you rather defend a case no one's seen, or would you rather defend a case that the internet is obsessed with?
I would rather defend a case that nobody has seen.
So that's like every day.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not trying to be on TV.
I like having media involved in the case. When I was at the state attorney's office, I prosecuted Dennis Rodman, and the media came to
I forgot
the
about
court
that.
every day that was going on. When I worked at a job before law school, when I was in law school, my boss had a lot of like celebrity clients, and there was often times where I would be interacting with people that were, high net worth or celebrities, and I had enjoyed doing it, but it's a lot easier to work on a case that I don't have to include thinking about the media and thinking about public reaction while I'm working on the case.
Yeah.
I think that stuff is noise ultimately.
Yeah.
And you have the signal of focusing on the law and focusing on the facts and focusing on the actual case. The other stuff that brings in the noise, which is often media attention, is a distraction. It's
a distraction, and it like makes the case way more complex in different ways. Mm-hmm. For instance, if the jury has heard about it, then, they may need to be sequestered. And if they, there might be issues with like busting the panel and actually getting a jury, media wanting your insight as counsel on the case. And then obviously some lawyers do it because they want, they do like their PR or whatever, and they want to present as like this great lawyer, which is great for marketing or whatever, but we have a job to do. So we need to stay focused. And I think that, like, I agree with you. I think that maybe it's something that could potentially happen. I wouldn't be like opposed to working on a case because of that, but it definitely would make the case a little bit more complicated because you have to think about different aspects of how that would play into the facts of the case or potentially how the trial could go. So speaking of like Cardi B and like cases online, all of those things can be, goes right back to the jury. Like, can the jury be fair? Can the jury actually assess this case without anything they heard on the media or on the news prior to the facts of what's being presented in court? So I don't know.
It's also a ton of pressure if you have a media case because the constant changes in the case and is constantly updated in the media. And then there's constant takes from the media on everything that's happening with the case. The more high profile, the more attention, the more opinions there are going to be, the more social media following there's going to be. So you do have the problem getting the jury. You have a problem keeping the evidence private enough until it gets to a jury.
Right. Because the media will often, and I'm sure you've seen that. Well, when you were prosecuting Rodman's case, you definitely had media in the courtroom for that. But like all the time, we're in court and there's media in the back of the courtroom recording. They're there prior to the trial date, attending hearings, attending the pretrial hearings, hearing motion in limines, which is like, judge, we want to exclude X, Y, and Z evidence, and this is how it played into the case, and it's prejudicial, or whatever argument defense counsel's making. And then, the media will go write about it and be like, there's this knife that was found, or whatever.
Yeah. It also blows everything up because if there are victims involved in the case and there's media involved, that usually means there's going to be another lawyer involved, which is a civil lawyer that comes in and represents the victim in a criminal matter. they could be representing that person to try to recover for them civilly, but they also can advocate to try to recover from them in criminal restitution. So they can't get 2 bites of the apple of the same amount of money, but anything that they would be entitled to with criminal restitution, they can have some advocate for. Now, if you have that advocate, you have another person that's interacting with the media and is giving their opinion. And now you have the opinion of the victim that's getting out into the public that could be swaying the court, could be swaying the state, could be swaying the potential jurors.
Well, you know what happened in P. Diddy's case while the trial was going on? Cassie's lawyer, I think, read a letter that her husband wrote, Cassie's husband wrote, that was like this long-winded thing that I was shook. I was like, I would have requested like a gag order for this. Like, I can't believe that this was being done during the trial. And I don't know if the jury was sequestered. Do you know if the jury was sequestered in that case? I don't think they were.
I don't think so.
But I didn't hear anything about it if they were. But, they definitely could like poison the jury that way if they're talking about like their feelings and how they were affected. None of that is admissible in court. Like in court, when you're talking about a crime from the victim's perspective, you talk about the elements the facts that help you prove the elements of the case as the government attorney. So like you are not to say like, I've been dealing with all this trauma for years and all this. Like, no, that's not something that is allowed. And saying that on the media and then you risk having jurors hear that. That's like,
yeah, that's and
another attorney. Yeah. And then an attorney participating in that. Like, that's crazy. So, speaking of attorneys representing alleged victims or victims, I think it's always a good idea, especially as like the more high profile the case is. I think if there is a victim involved, there should definitely be counsel for the victim because
agreed.
It's the media gets so crazy in your face. You could say anything, just like you're saying, that could be heard by the wrong person. And then, it could end up that the victim could be in trouble for saying something, or held in contempt for saying something that they shouldn't have said if they were ordered not to. So there's just a lot of different like ways things can go wrong because the media and like the internet is so involved in so many different court cases, and it just can really like poison the case and cause a mistrial or whatever. And like sometimes you have to move venues if it's like a local big case going on. You sometimes have to request to do the trial elsewhere, and I've never had that experience. But
no, I've not either.
At this point and at this rate, it's like there's no such thing as like local like there, like nothing's local anymore. It's not like the local news. It's like the internet's the internet. If you go on the internet and across the world, you're going to see this. You could see the same thing that I'm seeing here in Florida. Like right. It doesn't matter. So I don't know how much longer that could be, a remedy for people, but it's not going to solve all the problems because the internet is literally everywhere.
I agree with you.
And speaking of like, the internet, the algorithm, whatever, a lot of things that could come into play here, or like issues that could come into play here are issues about like trying to delete evidence online or like things that you have posted online. And if you try to delete anything that could potentially get you in trouble after you've been notified that there's like a pending case or potentially a pending case against you, that's tampering with evidence. So
it's also consciousness of guilt, and it gives the state attorney's office a very strong argument against your against you and against your case.
Yeah. And also like, do we really even know if this is deleted forever? Like, that's the other question. I don't know about that. So I attended a training recently that was like talking about like cell phone extractions and like talking about like, are things actually deleted? And like the answer was like sometimes, basically, and they described how, but it's like, why would you even risk it? So people just need to stop putting their lives and all these videos and giving the evidence to the government online because just for the sake of clout, like Heston James and Put a Girl On and Marlena Velez. But there's also ways to like protect yourself with like privacy settings and all the things, which you can do. But I think the best course of action when it comes to like social media posting content is to not record acts that can be argued are criminal.
Figure out a way to get attention other than doing criminal acts on video.
There's so many ways.
There has to be other ways.
So many. You can go on OnlyFans.
Yeah, you can make a ton of money on OnlyFans.
You don't have to go to law school to make a ton of money.
Nope. Nope. The people that do really well on OnlyFans make a lot more money than the best lawyers do. So
that is so true. Well, go.
Well, that's all the time I have. Now I have to go and start my OnlyFans career because the law career is...
Yeah, it's slowly declining. AI is taking our jobs, and we'll be signing up for FootFinder. And
yes, we will be. It'll be Come Back with a Warrant, the OnlyFans edition. Just kidding.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
All right, so that wraps up today's episode, all about the illustrious people on TikTok who are finding their ways to get in trouble by posting videos of themselves doing stupid and illegal shit. But
so if you liked listening to this episode, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We are on all platforms at comebackwithawarrant.pod, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you didn't like listening to this episode,
come back with a warrant.
New year, healthy goals. So what's for dinner tonight? Hatfield marinated pork tenderloins, of course. Packed with protein and oven ready in about 35 minutes. Hatfield makes fresh starts easy. To find retailers near you, visit simplyhatfield.com. Hatfield, better care, better pork.